What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cam show. We got NFL Week 2, the recap. Really some big games, really some surprises to me, right? Obviously, the biggest surprise overall is the Indianapolis Colts. Like I said, every time I pick the Colts, they lose. But when I pick against the Colts, they win. It's funny how it goes, right? It's crazy, but I love it, though. Any given Sunday, we just don't know about the NFL. That's what makes the NFL amazing to me is like, you really don't know which games are going to win. You know, just like the Monday night game tonight with the Saints and the Las Vegas Raiders. To me, it was crazy. Obviously, I went with the Saints. I went with I took the over. The over was six points. To me, I took the spread. Excuse me, I didn't take the over or under. I took the spread in that one. I really thought that the Saints were going to do it, but I honestly did not know when I picked the Saints. I believe it was Thursday or Friday. I didn't realize Michael Thomas was going to be out for the Saints. He did not play. That was a significant loss. And we saw what the Raiders did. Derek Carr, what a game. He went 22 for 30, 239 yards passing with one touchdown. But the difference maker was their running back in Jacobs. Yes, Jacobs, he is from Alabama. He kind of got his way with what he wanted to do with the Saints defense. He ran all over the Saints defense. I really was really like, wow, I can't believe what they're doing to that with the whole how they're going to stop that, with the Saints. But look, this is an eye-opener for the Saints. The Saints have to look at this loss and say, look, we got a long way to go. We still got a lot of learning curves in this situation. Excuse me, Derek Carr threw for 282 yards with 3 touchdowns. I said 2 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs, he had 27 carries for 88 yards. That was a difference maker. Brees had a decent game, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, but other than that, I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. But the Thursday night game, the Browns, I picked the Browns. They did not cover. Joe Burrow, he had a pretty good game. He had 61 throwing attempts. Isn't that crazy? He had 316 yards with 3 touchdowns. And obviously Baker Mayfield, he showed out. He had 219 yards with 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. But I've been critical on Baker, but hey, he still has to prove to me this year that they are a playoff team. You have no excuses at this point. You have Odell. You have good players around you. This is the year for the Browns to make the playoffs. If they don't, it's really disappointing. And I still say to what I believe is release Baker Mayfield if you guys don't make the playoffs. It's make or break for them. And then we got the Giants versus the Bears. I picked the Bears, but the Bears did not cover. Trubisky had a pretty good game. He went 18 for 28, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Like I said, I'm not really high on Trubisky yet. We saw what he does in the playoffs here and there. But, the story of the day was Saquon Barkley getting hurt. To me, it was really disappointing. And before that play happened, but the play before, it looked like he moved his knee weird. And at that time, I wish, as a coach, I wish he could have saw that and been like, yo, you're out of the game right now. We saw you move a little funky, and then that next play is where his knee gave out. A torn ACL. We're seeing it, the players starting getting hurt, like Nick Bosa. He's got a torn ACL as well, just like Barkley. So to me, it's really sad. It's sad. I hate to see players get hurt. I really do. I hate to see that, but they just have to live and learn it and continue to grow. And I hope the best for Bosa and Saquon Barkley going ahead. Young guys in the league, really, and obviously getting hurt sucks. It's part of the game, though. Then Atlanta versus the Dallas Cowboys. I picked the Cowboys. Obviously, they didn't cover the 4 points that they were favored by. But dude, Atlanta, I cannot believe it. I really can't. I cannot believe that their head coach, Dan Quinn, is still their head coach. He's the same head coach that lost to the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl when they were up 28-3. Seriously, since 1933, they are the first team to score 39 plus points in a game with 0 turnovers and lose the game. Since 1933. They say that because since 1933, that's when they started recording these the stats, everything since 1933, so it makes sense. But the first team to lose. Crazy, right? There's only a few NFL teams to be down by 15 plus points under 5 minutes to go in the fourth, and they are 8 and 1,875. In Atlanta, welcome to the history books. You are one of those teams. I cannot believe it. Actually, they had a 99.9% chance to win with 2 minutes and 33 seconds to go in the fourth quarter when they were up by 9 against Dallas when Dallas was on their 38-yard line. Right? 99.9% according to ESPN. It's crazy. The Super Bowl that I was talking about, they were 99.7% chance to win when they took the lead when they scored the touchdown to go up 28-3 in the Super Bowl. And yet they still had the same head coach, Dan Quinn. How do you still have a head coaching job? Please tell me, Atlanta, how does Dan Quinn still have a coaching job? I'm still trying to figure that out. Really. But hats off to the Cowboys, the way they played. Dak Prescott, 450 yards with a touchdown. Zeke had 89 yards, a touchdown with 22 carries. Todd Gurley for Atlanta had 61 yards. But Matt Ryan had 4 touchdowns. But, it boils down to the coach. Dan Quinn, he should have been fired when they lost in the Super Bowl, when they were up 28-3. There's no excuses. With 2 minutes to go in the third and you still lose the Super Bowl, something that, hey, mind over matter at that point. You have to play to lose the game. You have to play not to lose the game at that point. It's just what are you guys doing? Throwing the ball still? When you guys are up 9-28 in the Super Bowl? I don't understand. Milk the clock, right? It's just common sense to me. But Dan Quinn, I don't even know how he's the, like I said, Atlanta coach. We saw what happened on the onside kick. Atlanta just watched the ball. They thought it was going to come up short. If I'm a head coach there, I'm saying, look, dive on that ball, get the ball, and dive on it and get it. No excuses, dude. This is the NFL. These first couple games are really serious when you go deep into the playoffs. I'm talking running super deep here. Week 15, week 14, when you need that win, you're going to look back at week 2 and be like, hey, we got the win here. Isn't that crazy? And Atlanta's going to probably look back and shoot themselves in the foot. But I think Atlanta really needs to fire their head coach. No doubt about it, but hats off to the Cowboys. Now we have the Lions versus the Green Bay Packers. I cashed out on this. I picked Green Bay Packers. I picked the spread as well. The over was 49.5. They went over easy, and Aaron Rodgers is balling out. Rodgers went 18 for 30, 240 yards. Like crazy with 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones, he had 18 carries, 168 yards, and 2 touchdowns as well for Green Bay. Matt Stafford, pretty decent game. He went 20 for 33, 244 yards with 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. But what I'm saying is Aaron Rodgers, he's on a mission this year. And that's scary. When we see Aaron Rodgers serious and on a mission, that's when it's look, this is the MVP Aaron Rodgers right here. The Super Bowl MVP. That's who he is. And I think, and I know I said it in the past dealing with Aaron Rodgers' 89 Madden rating. That's just that. That's why I didn't get the new Madden, strictly because I looked at that and I said, really? Who's doing these ratings? You know what I'm saying? Who's watching the football games? Do they understand football? The people who do the Madden ratings, where's John Madden when we need him? Where is John Madden when we need him? Then we had the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Tennessee Titans. The Titans were 7.5-point favorites. They did not cover, but they won 30-33 in a really close game. Tannehill had 239 yards with 4 touchdowns. Tannehill's playing lights out right now. And I think if he continues to play the way he's going to play, and I've said it before, Tennessee's my dark horse team. They could really run deep in the playoffs. They can. Minshew, he had 339 yards with 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. James Robinson, he had 102 yards with 1 touchdown. Derrick Henry had 25 carries with 84 yards. But that's the recipe for winning for Tennessee Titans. Run the ball. I'm going to run down your throat, clock management. I'm going to keep your offense off the field. And that's really the recipe for winning in a solid defense. Obviously, Jacksonville scored 30 points on them. But, hey, a win's a win in the NFL, regardless. I was going to say Super Bowl. But in the NFL, a win is a win. It doesn't matter how you do it as long as you get that win. And then, obviously, Minnesota at Indianapolis Colts. Every time I pick go with the Colts, they lose. So I was happy that I pick against the Colts, and yet they won. And I understand. I still believe that the Colts should tank. Because obviously, if the Colts do make the playoffs, they're not going to run far. You got Baltimore, you got Kansas City. Come on. You know, you got Tennessee. It's just going to be an uphill battle for the Indianapolis Colts. And I think if they draft Trevor Lawrence, I think that's the best thing that can happen to the Indianapolis Colts. Philip Rivers, a pretty decent day, 214 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But the difference maker is Jonathan Taylor. This kid is going to be something special. And I'm so glad the Indianapolis Colts drafted him from Wisconsin. This guy is something else. He had 101 yards rushing, 1 touchdown on 26 carries. He's a workhorse. I like him, and I believe he can be a future superstar down the road. I really do. At some point, it could take a couple years down the road, but I do think he could be a superstar at one point. You know, shout out to Jonathan Taylor. Shout out to the Colts. Like I said, I still think the Colts should tank eventually. Then we had the Bills versus the Miami Dolphins. I picked the Bills heavy on this one. Obviously, they didn't cover the spread, and they went under. The 40 was the over-under. 41 was the over-under. It went under on that one. You know, Josh Allen, 24 for 35 attempts. He had 417 yards and 4 touchdowns. Look, like I said, man, Josh Allen, he's going to be an MVP candidate this year. Obviously, he's probably not going to win, but he's going to be in the discussion, dude. He's got to. He's got to be in the discussion. They didn't cover. Diggs, he had 8 receptions for 153 yards and a touchdown. I think Diggs and Allen really have that combination going right now, and it's going to be super dangerous moving towards the middle of the season, all the way towards the end of the season, obviously into the playoffs, because I do believe the Buffalo Bills will make the playoffs, no doubt about it. Then we have Fitzpatrick. He's been in the league for a while. He went 31 for 47, 328 yards passing, and 2 touchdowns. But it wasn't enough. Like I said, I can't wait to see this Tua kid from Alabama come in and get a shot, man. You know, everyone deserves a shot, and I think he's a rookie, and I think he will eventually get his shot in the league at some point this year. You know, the Dolphins, correct me if I'm wrong, they haven't even won a game yet. You know, put the rookie in. You know, Fitzpatrick, I get it. You've been here for a while. Put the rookie in. Then we have the 49ers versus the Jets. Look, Jimmy G got hurt. He did not come back in the second half. You know, and obviously Joey Bosa, he ended up tearing his ACL. He's out for the season. This looks really bad for the 49ers coming in. Obviously, they got the win against the Jets, but we're talking about the New York Jets here. We're talking about the worst organization in football today right now. Okay, and not to mention, a lot of players were really bitching at the turf that it was sticky, and it made sense because, you know, I think really they should get a lawsuit here because a lot of players ended up getting hurt, you know, including Jimmy Garoppolo. It's crazy, man. New York, dude, they should just be banned from the NFL this year. You know, with COVID going on, their field being trash, their turf is ass. You know, I think they should be banned this year. You know, and Sam Darnold, obviously, he's not a good quarterback. He had 179 yards passing and 1 touchdown, dude. Like, that's just trash, dude. But like I said, 49ers still got the dub. Can the 49ers make the playoffs? And I said at the beginning of the year before the season started, 100% the 49ers will make the playoffs, and I'm still sticking to that. You know, they have a lot. I understand Joey Bosa going out. That's a huge loss. But I do believe they will bounce back, and they'll find a way to get in the playoffs into that wild card. I believe the 49ers will sneak in to that wild card spot. Then we got the Rams versus the Eagles. This was an even pick. I ended up going with the Rams here. Dude, the Rams, I've told you guys, they look like the Super Bowl Rams we saw when they played the Patriots. But I even think they look a little bit better. And I'm saying that because obviously their defense is spectacular. But, you know, I've been really high on tie on Jared Goff. You know, I called him trash before. You know, he's really proven me wrong this first couple games this season in 2020. Jared Goff has really stepped it up. He had 275 yards passing. You know, he went 20 for 31. Yes, he threw an interception. But, dude, I'm telling you, they are clicking right now. You know, it's dangerous. And obviously the downside for the Rams is their division. You know, they got Seattle, Arizona that's undefeated. So I think their division is really one of the hardest divisions in the NFL today. You know, we didn't say that a couple years ago, right? You know, we always said the Bears, you know, Green Bay, that division's really tough. But, dude, I'm telling you, this division is tough. But I'm 100% the Rams will make the playoffs. It's really their own destiny at this point. And I really believe it boils down to Jared Goff. If Jared Goff plays a good game, does not throw bad interceptions, look, they could run into the Super Bowl and arguably win the Super Bowl. But it really boils down to, is Jared Goff going to play his A game? I mean, I'm not worried about the Rams defense. Dude, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, those guys, I'm telling you, their defense is top 5 defense in the league right now. And moving forward, as we get into the season, into the NFL playoffs, I do believe the Rams will be in the top 3 in defenses, dude. I'm telling you, they have to double Aaron Donald every time, dude. And if they don't, it's bad news. It's bad news. But the Rams, the future is super bright for the Rams. Look, Carson Wentz, I've been high on tight on Carson Wentz. He had 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Carson Wentz still has to prove to me. He's been hurt quite a much in his career. Obviously, Nick Foles filled in with that Super Bowl run. Look, Carson Wentz, you still have to prove to me, dude. Really, it's a proven league, and you have to be healthy, and that's just part of the reality in the NFL. And to me, Carson Wentz still hasn't proved a lot to me, honestly. Simply because he's been hurt a lot, dude. You got to stay healthy as a quarterback in the NFL, or else you're not going to make it. But I wish the best for Carson Wentz and the Eagles this year. Can they make a playoffs? It's a big question mark, but, it really boils down to the offensive line, protecting Carson Wentz, and how can he play? How can Wentz play going down the field? And then we got the Broncos versus Pittsburgh Steelers. I picked Pittsburgh, but they did not cover the spread. 7.5 was the spread. Look, Rapist Big Ben, he had a pretty good game. 311 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Their running back, Connor, he had 106 yards with 1 touchdown. But I think his injury, I think he will bounce back eventually. I really do. I think Drew Lock will bounce back. It's just a matter of when and how long will his injury sustain. But I think, for the Broncos, obviously they're not going to make the playoffs. I do not believe the Broncos will make the playoffs, no doubt. But look, moving forward, it's the sky's the limit for Pittsburgh Steelers. And I hate to say that because I'm not a rapist Big Ben Roethlisberger fan, but I will tell you, dude, the sky's the limit for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they will make the playoffs, and it's really dangerous for Pittsburgh to make the playoffs. I think they will sneak in there. And then we got the Panthers versus the Bucks. Cashed out this one. I picked heavy on Tampa Bay. They ended up covering the spread, and the over and under was 47.5. I went with the over. The over was actually 48 exactly. This was amazing, dude. And we're starting to see what Tampa's about. And it's funny. One game everyone's like, "Oh, Tampa's done." Tom Brady's not enjoying his time in Tampa. Stop it. Let's not jump to conclusions. Tampa Bay, I do believe, will make the playoffs. They got Tom Brady after all. Okay, so let's not forget. Tom Brady's 6-time Super Bowl champion. I cannot wait to see what's the future holds. Teddy Bridgewater, he had a pretty good game. He went 33 for 42, 367 yards with 2 interceptions. Tom Brady just only threw for 217 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But Fournette, the running back that they got from Jacksonville, he had over 100 yards rushing with 2 touchdowns. And then Mike Evans, like I said, he's a difference maker as well. He had 104 yards receiving and 1 touchdown, dude. Tom Brady's got the weapons. And obviously, Gronkowski's there. And I think Gronkowski will have a slow start to the season. But we will see Gronkowski come alive late season and in the postseason. And that's when Tom Brady really utilizes Gronkowski in a way. So I cannot wait to see how they connect in the playoffs. The playoffs, it's a different breed. It's a different animal. I cannot wait to see all that stuff happen. And then we got the Washington team versus Arizona. Look, Arizona, I honestly, they have surprised me this year. After the first couple years back in 2017, 2018, 2019, it's really a slow start to Arizona. Obviously, Kyler Murray, this cat is going to be good, man. He reminds me of like a Russell Wilson-esque. He went 26 for 40, 230 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Dude, I'm telling you, these guys, dude, Arizona's another dangerous team. Now, do I think Arizona can beat maybe like a Seattle or maybe even the Rams in the playoffs? No, I don't think that, but I do believe Arizona could squeak into the playoffs, which is crazy, right? At the beginning, the first game, we're just like, obviously we're only in week 2. It's easy to say who's going to make it, not, it's really hard right now. But I think, dude, the way Arizona's playing right now, dude, there's no doubt in my mind they can make the playoffs. They are on fire right now. Then we got DeAndre Hopkins, 14 receptions for 151 yards. Snagged him from Houston. I can't believe it, dude. What was Houston thinking? I really think Deshaun Watson was mad on that decision. Obviously Deshaun got a big paycheck, but look, dude, Arizona's the real deal. I feel bad for the Washington team. They might not win a game this year. I think they'll win maybe one or two, but let's be honest here. The Washington team is trash, just like their name, the Washington team. Like, what is this? Is this flag football? 3rd and 4th grade? Like, in elementary? Like, come on. Come up with a better name, dude. The Washington team? Like, who thought of that? They must have been smoking on some K2 or something. Then we got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Chargers. Look, the Chargers, there's no excuses. They should have won this game. They played not to lose. There was a couple times where it was 4th down, especially 4th and 1, or maybe even 4th and 2, and they elect to kick the field goal to take a 3-point lead instead of going for it and go for the touchdown. I think that was the difference maker. And you have to understand, you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. Arguably the best NFL offense in the league, dude. Patrick Mahomes is no joke, dude. This is real. And if I'm the coach of the Chargers, I'm thinking, why are we kicking field goals against Kansas City? Especially late game. You have to understand that, dude. Kansas City, they don't kick field goals, okay? They rarely do. They normally score touchdowns. So for me, it's just like you got to go for the win, though. You got to. Every time, dude. That's just how it goes. But, I feel like, Tyrod Taylor ended up getting hurt this game, which was crazy. It was one of them things where it was like, how did this even happen? And then we had the backup, the cat from Oregon. Look, he had a good game, man. He had a good game, but like I said, they just did not play to win the game. His name's Herbert. He had 311 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Keelan Allen had 7 receptions for 96 yards. Mahomes over 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, he had 99 yards on 5 receptions and a touchdown. And that's the difference, man. Like I said, you got to beat Kansas City. The way you beat Kansas City is keep them off the field and score touchdowns. You cannot score field goals against Kansas City or else you're going to lose, dude. Point blank, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, dude. Real shit. So you got to do that. So, for me, I just feel bad for the Chargers, but the Chiefs, they find a way. And the Chiefs will look back, and they'll probably get home field advantage after this. But they got a big task coming up on Monday Night Football. I cannot wait to see that game. Monday night, the Ravens versus Kansas City at Ravens. I cannot wait. And then we got, speaking of the Ravens, we have Ravens versus the Texans. I was wrong on this pick. Obviously, I went with the upset pick with the Texans, which was really wrong. But to me, the Ravens, obviously they're the real deal. And it really boils down to how Lamar Jackson's going to play late in the season and in the postseason. But I'm not really worried about the Ravens. I feel like Kansas City should be worried about the Ravens. That's their biggest threat to get to the Super Bowl. But, dude, I'm telling you, Lamar Jackson, 20 for 25, 275 yards, 3 touchdowns, dude. He also had 7 carries for 45 yards. Deshaun Watson, a pretty decent game, 253 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Will Fuller, he had 8 receptions for 112 yards from Notre Dame. Shout out to Notre Dame right there. But, Ravens got it done, and they got the over. So, the Ravens are on a roll. I cannot wait to see this next Monday Night Football game. It's going to be legendary. Then we have the Patriots versus Seattle. Seattle, I cannot believe what happened in Seattle. Yeah, I believe, I believe it was in Seattle. Correct me if I'm wrong. It might have been in New England. But regardless, Cam Newton had the ball late game for the touchdown on the 1-yard line. Okay, with 2 seconds left, and to me, you could not get it in. I don't know what it was. I feel like Cam Newton could have scrambled outside and scored. But look, give a shout out to Pete Carroll in Seattle, dude. And I'm telling you, Pete Carroll historically plays good against Bill Belichick. And yes, I get it in the Super Bowl. Pete Carroll made one of the worst decisions, worst calls in Super Bowl history. Maybe the worst call in football history as well. But look, Pete Carroll is a good coach. Let's give him that. I feel like he doesn't get enough credit. But look, Russell Wilson, one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league. We could say that. Russell Wilson, 288 yards with 5 touchdowns and only 1 pick. Russell Wilson is the real deal. He's from Wisconsin. He was drafted in the 3rd round. Just think Andrew Luck and RG3 went before Russell Wilson. And yet Russell Wilson has more Super Bowls than RG3 and Andrew Luck. Obviously Andrew Luck's not in the league anymore. Andrew Luck's probably curing cancer or something. But look, Cam had a good game too. He had 397 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Edelman had 8 receptions for 179 yards. That's crazy, dude. Edelman is a killer, dude. He's a dog. But look, Cam Newton, I feel like they could have maybe done a different play, maybe a shovel pass, maybe an option. Maybe do an option, maybe confuse Seattle's defense to score that game-winning touchdown for the Patriots. But look, Seattle got the win, dude. Seattle in New England got the win. That's crazy. I love it. Then we had this Monday Night Football game, the Saints versus the Las Vegas Raiders. And actually, my brother-in-law called it perfectly. He said the Las Vegas Raiders will upset the New Orleans Saints. That was his upset pick of the week. And he nailed it, dude. And I couldn't believe it, honestly. And really, I like I said to start the show was, Michael Thomas did not play. He was hurt. I didn't realize that. Now, if I would have realized that, before game time, I probably would have been like, you know what? I would have been like, Tim, you are right. The Las Vegas Raiders will win this game, but look, I think it's good for both teams, but I really think it's good for the Saints, and this is why. I think it's good for them to get their mind right and be like, look, this is what we need to work on. We need to work on our run defense. We saw what Josh Jacobs did, really controlled the ball, really ran down the Saints' throw. And yes, I get it, Drew Brees threw an interception, but I'm really not worried about the Saints. Okay, the Las Vegas Raiders, we know, are pretty freaking good. They utilize their tight ends. They utilize their deep threat receivers. I love what Oakland's doing, and their defense is playing great. But look, looking at this Saints matchup, the Saints, they got Green Bay next week, so it's only going to get harder for the Saints. But, there's a lot of upside dealing with the Saints. Michael Thomas, I hope, will be back for the Green Bay Packers matchup. But look, dude, this is a great pick. I told my brother-in-law, what a pick, dude. Las Vegas Raiders, we have to understand the Saints were favored at 6 about a day ago before the game. So, this is serious, dude. The Raiders were underdogs going in, dude, and they ended up getting the dub. This was amazing to me, but that was definitely the upset pick of the week, no doubt. No doubt at all. And I believe the Rams-Eagles was at even money line, prior to the game starting. So this was big, dude. And obviously another upset pick was the Colts. The Colts, and I believe they were favorites going in, but dude, come on. Who thought the Colts were going to beat the Minnesota Vikings the way the Vikings have played? Kirk Cousins threw 3 interceptions. Kirk Cousins got a big contract, but I haven't been really high praise for Kirk Cousins. He still has to prove to me, he could be a Super Bowl champion. A Super Bowl at least contender quarterback. But look, what a week 2 to start off the season. I'm telling you, these games, as we keep progressing down in the future, I'm telling you, it's only going to get better, and I cannot wait, baby. Let's go!